Hello everyone. What's up? Welcome to the GMB channel. Hope you will enjoy our video. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Here is the news title. Crisis for Keir Starmer. As Labour suspends 11 councillors in WhatsApp probe. More Labour politicians were suspended on Tuesday. As fury grows over leaked WhatsApp messages, 11 Labour councillors have been suspended from the party after its investigation into a WhatsApp group containing offensive messages, which saw a former minister sacked and a second MP lose the whip. Ex-Health Minister Andrew Gwynn was fired for allegedly saying he hoped a 72-year-old woman would die after she asked a councillor about bin collections and reportedly joked about a constituent being mown down by a truck. Oliver Ryan MP, who was elected to his Burnley seat last summer and was involved in the group, was administratively suspended from the party on Monday. A Labour Party spokesman said, "As part of our WhatsApp group investigation, a group of councillors have been administratively suspended from the Labour Party. As soon as this group was brought to our attention, a thorough investigation was launched in line with the Labour Party's rules and procedures, and this process is ongoing. Swift action will always be taken where individuals are found to have breached the high standards expected of them as party members. It's understood the councillors are from Tameside and Stockport, in Greater Manchester, and include Gwynn's wife, Alison. It comes as a minister insisted it was up to voters to decide whether the two MPs who belong to the WhatsApp group should remain in Parliament." Education Minister Baroness Jackie Smith of Malvern said, "In the end, obviously it's up to their constituents as to whether or not they remain as MPs. But the important point here is the things that the Prime Minister could control. He took action on Lady Smith, a former Home Secretary, described the WhatsApp remarks as terrible things to say for anybody, and they're terrible things for an MP or a minister to say." On Sunday, Ryan posted a statement on X, saying some of the comments made in the group were completely unacceptable and I fully condemn them. Gwynn, MP for Gorton and Denton, Greater Manchester, has apologized for any offense I've caused and expressed regret over the remarks. He did not suggest he would stand down as currently grappling with a significant internal crisis following the suspension of 11 councillors over their involvement in a WhatsApp group that contained offensive messages. This development has intensified scrutiny on Prime Minister Keir Starmer's leadership and the party's internal dynamics. Background of the crisis. The controversy centers around a WhatsApp group named Trigger Me Timbers, which included Labour MPs, councillors, and party officials. Leaked messages from this group revealed racist, sexist, and anti-Semitic content, leading to swift disciplinary actions. Andrew Gwynn, the MP for Gorton and Denton in Greater Manchester, was dismissed from his role as health minister and suspended from the party after his participation in the group came to light. Gwynn was accused of making derogatory remarks about a 72-year-old woman and joking about a constituent being harmed by a truck. Following Gwynn's suspension, Oliver Ryan, the MP for Burnley, was also suspended after it was revealed he made jokes about Jewish clothing in the same WhatsApp group. Ryan admitted to making regrettable comments and failing to challenge inappropriate messages. The Labour Party has since suspended 11 councillors, primarily from Tameside and Stockport councils in Greater Manchester, due to their involvement in the group. Among those suspended is Alison Gwynn, Andrew Gwynn's wife. A party spokesperson stated that a thorough investigation was launched as soon as the group was brought to their attention, emphasizing that swift action will be taken against individuals who breach the party's high standards. Implications for Keir Starmer's leadership. This scandal poses a significant challenge for Keir Starmer, who has been striving to reform the party's image and distance it from previous controversies related to anti-Semitism and internal divisions. The emergence of offensive behavior within the party's ranks threatens to undermine these efforts and raises questions about the effectiveness of the party's internal controls and culture. Critics argue that the incident reflects deeper issues within the party's culture that need to be addressed. The fact that such a group existed and included multiple party members suggests a tolerance for inappropriate behavior that contradicts the party's stated values. Reactions and consequences. the scandal has elicited strong reactions from various quarters. Education Minister Baroness Jackie Smith described the WhatsApp messages as terrible things to say for anybody, and they're terrible things for an MP or a minister to say. She emphasized that while it is up to constituents to decide whether the implicated MPs remain in Parliament, the Prime Minister took decisive action within his control. Both Gwyn and Ryan have issued apologies for their actions. Gwyn expressed regret for any offense caused and acknowledged that his comments were inappropriate. Ryan admitted to making regrettable comments and failing to challenge inappropriate messages, stating that he fully condemns the unacceptable comments made in the group. The Labour Party has initiated a thorough investigation into the matter, with the potential for further disciplinary actions as more information comes to light. The party's swift response indicates an acknowledgement of the severity of the issue and a commitment to upholding its standards. Broader context and previous challenges. This incident is not an isolated challenge for Starmer's leadership. In January 2025, 20 Labour councillors in Nottinghamshire resigned, citing a departure from traditional Labour values under Starmer's leadership. They accused the party of abandoning its core principles and expressed dissatisfaction with the direction in which the leadership was taking the party. Additionally, during the Israel-Hamas war in October 2023, Starmer faced internal dissent over his stance on the conflict, his support for Israel's right to defend itself, and his comments regarding the humanitarian situation in Gaza led to criticism and resignations within the party. By November 2023, 50 Labour councillors had resigned over the issue, highlighting the internal divisions and challenges to Starmer's leadership. Conclusion. The suspension of 11 Labour councillors over offensive WhatsApp messages has plunged the party into a significant crisis, challenging Keir Starmer's leadership and efforts to reform the party's image. The incident underscores the need for a thorough examination of the party's internal culture and the implementation of measures to prevent such behavior in the future. As the investigation progresses, the party's response will be crucial in determining its ability to uphold its values and maintain public trust. And it could be Keir Starmer's Achilles. Heel voters may have found a horrible answer to one question in particular while observing the Labour Party. Labour's latest WhatsApp scandal is more than an embarrassment. It reveals that a fatal thuggishness has yet to be exorcised from the heart of the party. Voters will be bewildered that someone Sir Keir Starmer considered fit to serve as a health minister would joke about wanting a 72-year-old non-Labour voter dead. Pensioners who were shocked when Labour axed universal winter fuel payments will ask, is this what they really think about us? Is this how they talk about us behind closed doors? It puts a new perspective on Labour's decisions to rule out compensation for the WASPy women and to drag more pensioners into paying income tax with the freeze in the personal allowance. Toxic banter which saturates the WhatsApp messages will trigger memories of the brutishness that has plagued the party in recent decades. Many people will disagree with the policies of Angela Rayner and Diane Abbott. But the cruel mockery in the messages exposes a culture of saying horrible things about supposed comrades behind their backs. This will not come as a surprise to people who have seen Labour at its worst. The party's own investigation into activities in Liverpool in 2021 found reports of bullying, factionalism, misogyny, and dysfunction. The Tony Blair-Gordon Brown era was dogged by destructive and ruthless rivalry between factions. The late Chancellor Alistair Darling described in 2010 how the forces of hell were unleashed against him when he warned of the scale of peril facing the economy. The anti-Semitism scandals of the Corbyn era plunged the party into an era of utter turmoil. Frank Field resigned the Labour whip in 2018, complaining of thuggish conduct and warning of a culture of intolerance, nastiness, and intimidation. Sir Keir Starmer worked wonders in rescuing Labour from opprobrium and irrelevance and delivering the summer's landslide. But that majority will vanish if voters conclude that anyone who is not a diehard supporter is considered easy picking for a tax grab. Today, farming families fear they will lose land they have tended for generations as a result of the latest inheritance tax raid. Parents who have scrimped and saved because they think an independent school is right for their child are now walloped with tax. Experts warn that plans to hit employers with increased national insurance contributions will threaten jobs and make it harder for people to get entry-level work. Farmers, entrepreneurs, parents, and pensioners will note that the government was happy to hand out pay increases to pacify militant trade unions. They will ask why they are not accorded similar generosity and respect. It is one thing for a government to defend its most controversial policies as vital for the future of the country. But disaster awaits if it comes across as tin-eared and cold-hearted. Labour thrives when voters see the party as a champion of values they treasure. The electorate does not hesitate to eject its MPs when they are seen as enemies of decency and fair play. Theresa May once warned Tories they were seen as the nasty party. Labour must avoid this fate. Once again, Sir Keir needs to rescue its reputation. Has slipped, and it could be Keir Starmer's Achilles. Heel introduction. The Labour Party has long struggled with internal divisions and public perception, but recent controversies have once again put its character into question. The latest WhatsApp scandal, which exposed shocking remarks from a former health minister about a 72-year-old non-Labour voter, has reignited concerns about the party's true attitude toward those outside its ideological base. This scandal is more than just an embarrassment. It reveals a lingering culture of toxicity that many thought had been purged under Keir Starmer's leadership. Voters are left asking themselves an unsettling question. Is this what Labour really thinks about us? The scandal has cast new light on policy decisions such as the abolition of universal winter fuel payments and the refusal to compensate the WASPy women, reinforcing fears that Labour is not as committed to fairness as it claims. If the party is seen as ruthless in its treatment of pensioners, taxpayers, and non-traditional supporters, its historic landslide victory could quickly unravel. Chapter 1. The WhatsApp Scandal, a window into Labour's culture. The leaked WhatsApp. Messages revealed a level of callousness and disdain that many found shocking. Joking about the death of an elderly voter is not just distasteful. It speaks to a deeper issue within the party's ranks. The backlash was swift, with opposition figures and commentators condemning the remarks as emblematic of a wider problem, of factionalism and thuggish behavior within Labour. Historical context of Labour's internal divisions. Labour has long been plagued by internal rifts, often defined by factional rivalries and ideological clashes. From the bitter Blair-Brown power struggle to the Corbyn-era battles over anti-Semitism, infighting has frequently overshadowed the party's broader mission. This latest scandal is simply the newest chapter in a history of dysfunction that continues to haunt the party. Chapter 2. Labour's attitude toward pensioners and the elderly. The WhatsApp scandal has intensified concerns among older voters who already felt abandoned by Labour. The party's decision to scrap universal winter fuel payments and freeze the personal allowance, effectively dragging more pensioners into the tax system, has raised serious questions about its commitment to retirees' well-being. The WASPy women. Controversy. Labour's refusal to compensate the WASPy women, those affected by the rapid rise in the state pension age, has fueled anger and disillusionment. Many older voters feel betrayed, and the recent scandal only reinforces their fears that Labour sees them as expendable. Chapter 3. Taxation and Labour's economic policies. One of the biggest challenges Labour faces is the perception that it is a party of heavy taxation. The decision to freeze the personal allowance threshold means millions will pay more income tax in real terms. Impact on entrepreneurs and business owners. Small businesses and entrepreneurs, who already struggle with high costs, will bear the brunt of increased national insurance contributions. Many fear that these tax hikes will stifle job creation and economic growth. Chapter 4. Farmers and rural communities, an overlooked demographic? The inheritance tax changes have put farming families on edge. For generations, many of these families have worked the land, only to now face the prospect of losing it due to rising tax burdens. Labour's historical disconnect with rural communities only deepens their sense of alienation. Chapter 5. Labour's relationship with trade unions. While Labour has been generous in offering pay raises to unionized workers, other taxpayers feel overlooked. This favoritism has led to a perception that Labour prioritizes union demands over broader economic concerns. Chapter 6. A legacy of scandals. How Labour has struggled with internal culture. Labour has had its fair share of controversies, from anti-Semitism scandals under Corbyn to factional wars that continue to divide the party. The WhatsApp leaks are just the latest example of a culture that still tolerates backstabbing and toxicity. Chapter 7. The Blair-Brown Years. A cautionary tale, the infighting between Tony Blair and Gordon Brown showed how internal conflicts can destabilize a party. Today, Starmer must ensure that similar divisions do not resurface, or he risks repeating history. Chapter 8. Labour's electability. What happens next? If voters see Labour as ruthless in its policies and dismissive of concerns outside its core base, its electoral success could be short-lived. Opposition parties will undoubtedly exploit these weaknesses in upcoming campaigns. Chapter 9. The Starmer factor. Can he restore Labour's image? So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comment below. If you like my video, please press like button and subscribe for more. Hope I'll see you in next video.